Welcome to This Explainer. If you are a student staring down a massive software engineering exam, or maybe you're gearing up for your very first tech career, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to take all those incredibly dense software engineering theories and transform them into a super simple, easy-to-grasp blueprint. We're going to uncover the absolute essentials so you can not only ace those finals, but actually build some incredible software in the real world. Let's dive right in. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the software process foundation, then move into the generic process framework. After that, we'll look at essential umbrella activities, how this all works with real-world adaptation, and finally, we'll wrap up with an exam prep toolkit. But before we get into the actual mechanics of all this, I want you to consider a pretty massive question. What truly separates a chaotic, completely failing software project from a successful, on-time launch? I mean, the stakes here are incredibly high. And the answer? Well, it isn't just about having the absolute best coders in the room. It's almost entirely about having a reliable, rock-solid process.
Let's jump into Section 1, the Software Process Foundation.
Okay, so what exactly is a software process? To put it simply, it's your ultimate weapon against utter chaos. It's a highly structured set of activities that basically answers four crucial questions. What do we need to do? When do we do it? How are we going to do it? And who is supposed to be doing it? That is the magic formula. That's what literally transforms a super vague client requirement into actual working software.
Now, you might be thinking, why should development teams even care about all these rules? Well, adopting a concrete process is exactly what ensures a project actually finishes on budget and works the way it's supposed to. A systematic approach guarantees better quality and, honestly, predictable results. It drastically reduces your risks and gives you way better management capabilities. And when you combine all of that, you get really high customer satisfaction and incredibly strict cost control. It's a real game changer.
Moving right along to Section 2, the generic process framework. So almost every software methodology out there actually follows the exact same universal map. It's made up of 5 essential framework activities. Chronologically, we kick off with communication, then we move to planning, slip into modeling, follow that up with construction, and finally deployment. And it doesn't matter if you're building a tiny calculator app or a massive enterprise-level platform, these 5 steps, they form the absolute backbone of your development cycle. Let's unpack what's actually happening inside each phase. First up, communication. This is where you're gathering information and making sure everyone's expectations align with the customer. Next is planning, where you figure out the schedule, budget, and risks to establish a roadmap. Then comes modeling, where you translate those requirements into an actual design. Fourth is construction, which is the nitty-gritty coding and unit testing. And finally, deployment, releasing the software to the world. But here's the really critical takeaway. This is not a straight line. It's an iterative loop. That means user feedback during deployment feeds right back into communication for the next round. All right, let's look at Section 3, Essential Umbrella Activities. Think of it this way. If those 5 steps we just talked about are the engine of your project, umbrella activities are your safety net. These are actions performed throughout the entire software process. They don't just stop and start in sequence like the other steps. Instead, they cast a giant umbrella over the whole thing, hovering there over the entire life cycle to guarantee continuous project control, top-tier quality, and non-stop support. So how exactly do these activities protect your project? Well, here are 4 really core examples. First, project tracking. This is constantly comparing your actual progress against the plan so you can catch delays early. Then there's risk management, which is all about spotting massive problems before they even happen. Quality assurance is making sure you prevent errors and meet strict standards. And finally, configuration management. This one maintains consistency by tightly controlling different versions of your source code. Together, these 4 activities keep the entire team from derailing. This brings us to Section 4, Real-World Process Adaptation. Here is the deal. Every single project is completely unique. You simply cannot use the exact same rigid process for absolutely everything. And that is exactly where process adaptation comes in. It's the active customizing of your standard software process based on specific variables. Things like project size, how big your team is, the technical complexity, what tech you're actually using, and of course, what the customer specifically needs. And this brilliantly illustrates what adaptation actually looks like in the wild. Let's say you have a small mobile app startup. For them, adaptation means using a super lightweight process with way fewer documents so they can stay fast and nimble. But if you look at a large-scale banking system, they absolutely cannot afford to be lightweight. A single bug there could literally cost millions of dollars. So they adapt by enforcing a highly formal process with tons of rigorous documentation. The five-step framework is the same for both, but the way they adapt it, completely different. Finally, let's head into Section 5, Glossary and Exam Prep. All right, time to open up the toolkit and lock in some highly testable definitions for your notes. First up, risk management. Simply put, this is the process of identifying potential problems, whether that's a blown schedule, crazy tech hurdles, or running out of money, identifying them long before they occur and preparing clear mitigation strategies to reduce the impact. Another absolutely crucial term is configuration management. This is all about maintaining pure consistency by strictly controlling your source code, your documents, and organizing all the countless different versions and changes your team makes over time. To wrap this whole thing up, here is a super quick rapid-fire summary cheat sheet. Number 1, a software process structures the absolute chaos of development. Number 2, the generic framework always relies on those 5 chronological steps. Number 3, umbrella activities are always running continuously in the background to ensure quality. And number 4, process adaptation means actively customizing the rules based on the scale of your project. You are definitely going to want to take a screenshot right here. These are the key exam questions you really need to master. 1. Define a software process and list its benefits. 2. List and explain the 5 generic framework activities. 3. Explain the exact role of umbrella activities. And 4. Explain why process adaptation is necessary, making sure you use real-world examples. Honestly, if you can answer these 4 questions confidently, you are in great shape. So I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to chew on while you study. Based on everything we've uncovered today, how would you adapt a software process for a completely unpredictable AI-driven application of the future? Think about how those umbrella activities would have to evolve. Huge thanks for hanging out with me today on this explainer. Keep studying, keep building, and I will definitely see you next time.